Up with KREM begins now.
Welcome back to Up with KREM. We asked you to give shout outs to local teachers, and a viewer wanted to say thank you to Michelle Weiser from Reardon High School. Of course, if you want to give a teacher a shout out as well, text us 509-448-2000. Of course, we know that all of our teachers are working very hard these days to make sure they stay in contact with their students. Welcome back. I'm joined by my colleagues Joshua Robinson and Evan Arani. I'm Jen York. We all have a special teacher in our lives, of course, and I know that they're working overtime to make sure their students stay connected and make sure that they graduate to the next grade. Joshua, do you have a favorite memory from a teacher?
Oh, man, that's a tough question. Put me on the spot. I have so many. Man, that's a good one. That's a great. You know what? I think my fifth grade teacher, Mr. Stover, was probably my favorite teacher. Yeah, love that guy.
And Evan, what stands out to you about a great teacher?
I think a teacher giving individual attention and kind of thinking outside the box is a huge thing. Letting students use their imagination. I had some amazing teachers when I was growing up, especially through high school. I think I had some of my favorite teachers that just challenged the norm of learning and education, where you would come to class every day and be excited for class and enjoy it, and you wouldn't realize how much you were learning along the way. I feel like that's the sign of the best teacher. Is like I had an AP English teacher where every day in class we just had the best time. We would read different things and do what we wanted to do as a class, and then we all performed so well on the AP exams, and we're like, if anything, that's a sign of the best teacher, because they're teaching you along the way and you don't even realize how much you're learning too.
Yeah, definitely some unsung heroes for sure. So again, if you have a teacher that you want to give a shout out to, I know we've already received a couple, of course, so we want to keep those coming and shine a light on our teachers this morning. Text us 509-448-2000. Tell us what makes your favorite teacher so special. All right, moving into some headlines here on our Wednesday morning. Here are three things to know. A fifth coronavirus relief bill could be on the table. House Democrats want to secure additional money for direct payments to individuals, unemployment insurance, and small businesses. The amount of the funding has yet to be determined. Several Washington Republican lawmakers plan to file a federal lawsuit against the state's Stay Home, Stay Healthy order. Now, they want to abolish the order and reopen business now. The lawsuit argues the governor's orders are unconstitutional and too broad. The governor says it's meant to protect the public.
We can't have a good economy without a healthy Washington, and the measures we have taken are designed to preserve health.
And Washington's Stay Home, Stay Healthy order is in place right now through the end of the month. And Governor Inslee says he is working on protocols to open other businesses. The governor says he will announce those protocols next week. And as we know, Washington is currently in phase 1 of the reopening stage. Under this phase, state parks are open for day use, but the governor says there is still work to be done. Now, he developed 3 advisory groups to help gauge progress. The groups will focus on public health, economic recovery, and social support. Each group will be tasked with getting community input as well.
They're going to largely make the decisions the best way to really collate information, and I'm sure they'll be successful at that.
And Governor Inslee says the virus made some issues present before the pandemic, like homelessness, more complicated. And he's hoping the advisory groups will help with solutions. And Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward is pushing to open Spokane earlier than the rest of the state. Now, she wants Spokane to move into phase 2 right now. Governor Inslee says to do that, there needs to be no new cases of the virus for at least 3 weeks. On Twitter, the mayor called it unrealistic for a county of our size.
We're seeing new cases in single digits for a county with a 500,000 population. And we've had no new deaths. We have 10 people in the hospital right now.
Mayor Woodward says the Spokane region is finalizing a collaborative plan on how it would reopen. That plan will be presented to the governor next week. And that's a quick look at your headlines here on our Wednesday morning, and off to maybe a bit of a drizzly start across the inland Northwest. We want to bring in Evan Narani now. Evan, I don't have to water the lawn today.
That's right. In some cases, we're getting a little bit more than we asked for. Down toward Richland, at the Richland Airport, they've already tracked a 1/4 of an inch of rain so far. So safe to say it's going to be drizzly for some of us, and for others, moderate to heavy rain expected. Even the potential for some thunderstorms as we head through your evening. Here's what we see right now on satellite radar. South of I-90, the bulk of activity is taking place. You see those areas of yellow and orange. Those mean heavy downpours of rain. So again, at the Richland Airport, that's already led to a 1/4 of an inch. Same situation as you move off toward Kennewick, so toward Tri-Cities and the Walla Walla area, just about to start to see those more moderate to heavy downpours of rain. So this system is going to push farther off to the east. Keep tracking east. We see it as a vigorous cold front, bringing wind along the way as well. A wind advisory has now been expanded to include Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, as well as the entirety of central Washington. So everywhere highlighted in that tan color on your screen is under a wind advisory that will remain through this evening, and that previously only included areas over the Palouse, but has now been adjusted to expand to central Washington and north through eastern Washington. Next 12 hours hold the potential for wet weather really until the evening. That's when we see Spokane starting to see those showers taper off as close to 3 and 4 p.m. But then North Idaho and western Montana will see the brunt of it. So this is kind of exclusive for the Spokane area this next 12 hours. But for the region in general, you can expect mid 50-degree highs, which is well below normal for this time of year. Normal would be about mid 60s, so mid 50s is going to be a little bit chillier, but things clear up pretty quickly. By tomorrow, we start to see that dry weather move back in. We'll see partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies for tomorrow afternoon. Here's that view out at Moses Lake Airport. Still limited as far as our live cameras outside go because the sun is still coming up, but from what we can see, it is a wet one to start off the day. So like Jen mentioned, no need to water the lawn to start off the morning or really for the next day because we're going to hang on to these showers. We'll have more details on what to expect in just a bit. But for now, Joshua, I'll send things over to you.
Thank you very much, Evan. 6:07 now on your Wednesday morning. Today is National Nurses Day, which kicks off Nurses Week. And with so many healthcare staff members working through the coronavirus pandemic, we want to take some time this morning to thank our local nurses and healthcare workers. We're welcoming in KREM 2's Shayna Waltauer this morning, who joins us with one of those stories about a local nurse working from the front lines. Shayna, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you too, Joshua. There's never a bad time to celebrate these workers whose main priority is to keep this country running healthy. But now was an even better time to recognize these workers for their extended hours in service during this uncertain time. A nurse manager at Deaconess Hospital sat down with us to talk about his experience working during the coronavirus pandemic.
Florence Nightingale said so long ago that this was going to be the year of the nurse, and it kind of feels like that's coming to fruition now.
Plus Brown describes the long days at the hospital wearing all his protective equipment and a mask tied around his face as a part of the job.
Everyone is taking huge measures to keep everyone safe right now.
And he says those measures are heightened. While sanitary and disinfecting practices have always been a large part of healthcare, Brown says now there's a bit more focus on why this is so important.
We've become a lot more diligent, I think, even as a culture, about infection control and risk to ourselves and risk to our family, what we could possibly bring home to our family and friends.
And it's this diligence that's earned Brown and thousands of other workers national recognition.
We have, for years, tried to develop our own practice and our own recognized terminology and our own place in the system. And to feel this recognition is wonderful.
It's further motivation to keep pushing through the challenges of each day.
We've always had infection control. We've always had personal protective equipment to keep us safe from things that have been there all along. And this is just another bug in that line of things we've been defending against all along.
Brown says all they can do is work toward the time when things are back to normal.
The masks are going to have to come off sometime. As long as we do that safely and with smart guidance, I think we'll be fine.
And to all of our nurses out there, a happy Nurses Week to you all, and thank you for your work. And if you would like to give a shout out to the nurses in your life, well, here's your chance. Send your messages or photos to our text line at 509-448-2000. Right behind me here is a picture of one of the messages that we received. You see some nurses here holding up some hearts with some sweet messages recognizing all of their hard work. We'll send your shout out to our text line and it could be featured in our show. In the newsroom, Shayna Waldtower, I'll send it back to you, Joshua.
Thank you for bringing those stories to us this morning, Shayna. We appreciate it, and we'd love to see more coming in all morning long. Shifting gears now this morning, we want to give you a chance to smile. With so many flights canceled, a lot of pilots are truly taking unpaid leave. One of them, though, who works for Horizon Airlines out of Washington, volunteered to stay grounded so he could help a local fire department respond to the coronavirus. 3 years ago, 36-year-old Hunter Chumley did something that a lot of people would probably be terrified. Anyone who has a well-established career will tell you that quitting your job as a paramedic to pursue your childhood dream, yeah, it's a tough sell for some people, but that's what he did, becoming a commercial airline pilot. Chumley's new career screeched to a halt, though, nearly to a halt, we should say, this spring as the coronavirus grounded flights nationwide. So he volunteered to take an unpaid leave of absence so he could return to being a paramedic.
It was actually kind of scary, leaving a job that I'd been at for so long and not really knowing where it was going to go. A little nerve-wracking in the beginning just because I hadn't done it in 3 years, but it's just like I hadn't left.
Chumley says that his jobs in the air and on the streets are actually not as different as you might think they are. He says he hopes that his decision to stay grounded will allow other pilots without backup careers to keep flying.
I kind of have a dream of doing them both at the same time. I have a lot of love for flying, and I have a lot of love for being a firefighter paramedic.
Now, Chumley says he hopes to return to the flight deck at some point in the fall, but he also says he hopes this is not his final stint in a firehouse. Love to see that. I know that the emergency response work, Jen, done by firefighters is one of those things that we don't always associate with them. We imagine firefighters running out to put out fires, but they're so vital in terms of being emergency responders too.
Definitely on the front lines. There's a lot of things we probably don't see in our day-to-day lives, and we certainly need those people to do some of the jobs and tasks that not all of us would be capable to do, especially, some very tragic situations. We need those people in our community. So big thank you to him, and also so many talents that guy has.
Yeah, I loved the element, Evan, of the story where he said that by him sort of stepping back and getting into his second career, he wanted to open the door for other pilots to be able to sort of take his role. What a cool mentality to have.
Yeah, sometimes it takes kind of a big step like that, doing something that you are nervous about or a little bit scared to do to see your true potential.
Yeah, but boy, Jen, you're right. What a skill set this guy has to have. We appreciate all of the skills that he's bringing to, and I think we would all like to agree. We hope that he gets back up into the air this fall when things start to lighten up a little bit. Coming up, we're going to check in on your rainy Wednesday forecast, taking a look outside with the promise of some Wednesday showers on the way. Evan joins us to explain more in just a little bit. And experts say that vaccines save lives, but they can take a long time to develop. In our next 10 minutes, we explore the work that goes into it. But before we head to break, we have the latest on what you need to know when it comes to the invasive and dangerous Asian giant hornet that's earned the nickname the murder hornet.
A new type of dangerous and invasive hornet was recently spotted in the U.S. for the first time. Here's what you need to know about the Asian giant hornet, aka the murder hornet. The species was found in the U.S. for the first time in December 2019 near the Washington-Canada border. These hornets are about 1.5 to 2 inches long, with a large orange or yellow head. They're dangerous to both people and other insects, particularly honeybees. These attackers can brutally destroy a honeybee hive in a matter of hours, decapitating the bees and feeding the eggs and larvae to their own young. Though not normally aggressive towards people, they can still attack when threatened with a stinger that is longer and more toxic than that of a honeybee's. If you come across one of these insects, do not provoke it. If possible, take a photo from a safe distance and report it to your state's Department of Agriculture.